guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, kindly subscribe. If you're not new here, welcome. So basically guys, first of all, let me apologize for the light. As usual, you know my struggles, and as you can see, it has already started. So yeah, let me apologize for the lighting, and also for any background noises. Today kids are playing so much, so a lot is going on outside. So basically today's video is about my first time everything. First question basically is what was my first tweet. My first tweet was probably a link to my YouTube video that I had posted, or yeah, I think it was that. I'll put a picture here. Let me slide a bit so that when I put the picture you will see. So I put a picture here so that you guys can see what my first tweet was. My first YouTube video, this was my get to know me tag. I did on February 22nd last year, 2019. Yes, 2019. Number 3, do you still talk to your first love? I actually do. The last time I talked to him was yesterday, and this is simply because when we were dating, it wasn't how can I say this? I'd say it wasn't serious because we were young and nothing much came out of it. So yeah, and we are family friends, so we just became good friends afterwards. And by young I mean class 6 there. Anyway, my first alcoholic drink should be champagne, and this was last year or the other year. So basically it was just a sip of chamdo. Is it said like that? And I was given to by my cousin during a New Year's party. So yes, that was my first and last time taking an alcoholic drink. It was champagne, and it was just a sip before any of you comes at me. Yeah, first person to text me today, this was my baby. He was telling me to wake up because we had a class. Yeah. The first person I thought of this morning, this again would be my baby. And the reason why today in particular he was my thought, the first thing was because before we slept he said I call him to wake him up if he's not awake by 10, and I overslept and I snoozed my alarm. So my first thought was, if I'm late, then I'm also making him late. So yeah. My first teacher was called Teacher Varisha. She was Indian, and she was my preschool teacher. Let me tell you a story. So when I was in preschool, and that day we were learning about shapes, and you know Indians pronounce their R's in words, and you know something like circle. Yeah, so basically that day the assignment was on shapes, and I asked my mother, how do you spell circle shape? And she was like, circle or circle? I'm circle. Circle or circle? Or I'm circle. So she was like, apana, the circle. So I started crying because Teacher Varisha said it's called a circle shape. So my mother does not know. So she had to just call it circle shape to make me keep quiet and stop crying, and so that I can continue doing my assignments. Basically, this is a moral lesson, guys. When you take your kids to preschool, take them to a nice school where the teacher does not shrub, because however the teacher says any word is how your child will learn. So you to your siblings, peleke kwa shule yenye watu wana shrub. That is how she learned to say that exact word. But anyway, along the way she'd get it right, or he'd get it right, so it's fine. My first best friend, and do you still talk? My first best friend was called Anne Nyangweso. Yes, we share a name. And do we still talk? No. We had a fallout between class after class 8 and beginning of high school, mainly because it was my fault and I said some hurtful things and it was really uncalled for. I regret saying those things, and I think that it was just being childish. I know she watches some of my videos, so if she happens to watch this, hi girl. Yeah, so basically, but at this point I am not even not really angry, because I was never angry at her, but I'm really cool. Let me say I'm cool with her. We can always talk or hang out if at all that is at her best interest. So yeah, my first sleepover has to be at one of my cousins' places. Yeah. It's just like that. You guys know it's so hard to go to stay at your cousin's place, especially if you're African, because I don't know what goes on through our parents' head when you say you want to go and spend time with your cousins. I was about to say maybe it's just me, but I know it's not just me, because a lot of my friends experience the same thing, a lot of my cousins also, but at least once in a while they actually accept, and it's fine, you get to have a good time. The first thing I do in the morning is pray. As soon as I wake up, I pray. Yeah. My first broken bone was my left wrist, and this was in class 6. I fell down. You should know the story to that if you've watched my He Broke My Heart storytime video. If you haven't, I'll link it in my description and also somewhere on the screen so that you can go and watch that video. Is my first piercing. My first piercing is this first one here. Let me do this side. Yeah, this first one here, and I was pierced when I was really small. I don't even know. I don't think I knew what was going on. Probably I was even something months old, because yeah, I'll ask my mom so that we know when exactly was my first piercing. The first movie I remember seeing should be Matilda or Home Alone, simply because there's not even simply because, I just feel like these are the first movies I watched and I remember watching. And I actually watched Matilda 2 days ago. I'm the kind of person who watches who repeats movies or series if I liked them the first time watching them, so I definitely repeat it. My first roommate is actually, because it just happened recently, she's called Melanie. She's so nice and tiny. Yeah, so she's called Melanie and she's just nice. And this happened when I moved out because of uni. So yeah, the first app to check in the morning, this should be either WhatsApp or my Bible app. Depends on which comes first, but I actually do check my Bible app more often than WhatsApp. This is because I like to read the daily verse when I wake up. My first makeup item, I think this should be a lipstick. I feel like lipstick is the most basic thing you can have in your makeup kit. My first mobile phone, this was a certain Samsung I was given to by my brother when he was traveling to abroad to do work for work purposes. English, my guys. So yeah, I don't really remember what Samsung it was, but I will ask him and I will put it on the screen, and if it doesn't appear, it means he said he does not remember the actual model. My first fear, this should be either insects or darkness or a bit of both, because for insects it has been there, and also when I was young I used to fear darkness like a lot. I couldn't be in a room alone, so yeah, but nowadays I don't fear being in the dark. I actually don't mind being in the dark. My first internet activity, this has to be random search on the internet, basically googling something. Yeah. My first app has to be To Go. I feel like To Go was on Nokia phones only. I'm not really sure, but I couldn't really access it on any other app or any other phone, and I'm not really sure if it is there right now or not, but maybe it is. If it is there, it isn't as popular as it was at that time. But yeah, so basically that was my first app. My first pet has to be a cat. All my life we've just had cats. Before I was born, they did have dogs, but yeah, my last pet, like my recent one, was also a cat, but it pooped on our carpet, and my mother got so angry and threw it out, and she said she doesn't want any pets again. The last question is my first thought today. My first thought today was, am I late for class? So today we had an online class at 10:30, and I snoozed my first alarm at around 8, and then I slept. So when I was waking up, I just thought, I am late, it is already 10, and in my head I thought the class was at 10 because the first communication was that the class would be at 10, and then it was later changed to 10:30. So my first thought was like, it's already 10, the lecturer has already started, and I was just like, oh my god. And I knew if he started, if I'm not there, I'd be disoriented the whole class, the whole session. So that was my first thought, but I actually woke up at around 9:50, I think 51. And regardless of whether the class was supposed to be at 10 or at 10:30, at least I was not late. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed as much as I enjoyed filming for you guys. Also, go and watch this look on my IGTV. It will be up tomorrow. Tomorrow is on Tuesday. Hopefully it will be up tomorrow. So yeah, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, guys. Please, it does help me. We are getting to 500 after this long while, so please share out so that people may subscribe. It is free and it supports me. So yeah, as usual, I love you all, and I'll see you on my next one. Bye, guys.